Let us see how we can create categories. If I put my sales amount in values, then it only tells us that the total amount is 12.64 million. But if I want to see the amount of all the transactions presented as a unique list, then we put sales in rows and it tells me that the transaction size is ranging from 0.444 all the way up till 22,000. Now here we can right click and then click on group. Now remember, we are not grouping dates here. We are also not grouping text values. Because we are choosing numbers, you will notice that it is asking us the start and the end point. So we want to choose 0 and 25,000. And I want to end it at, or rather, I want to keep the interval size as 5,000. And you notice we get 5 levels of 0 to 5 and 20 to 25. If we now put our row ID in values, it will tell us. In fact, let me change it to count. So it will tell me that out of 51,000 transactions, nearly all of them have been coming in the category size of 0 to 5,000. So let us right click and then group it once again. And this time we want to say from 0 till, let us say, only 2,500 with an interval size of 500. Now think about what will happen. There are a lot of numbers that are over 2,500, but we have defined our ending point as 2,500. So what happens is that all the others get clustered together in a category which is greater than 2,500. So I will do that once again. This time, let's only look at the very small transactions. So we group it from 0 to 500 with an interval size of 100. That means we want to see 0 to 100, 100 to 200, so on and so forth. And now my results look like this. And now you notice that they are more evenly spread out. And when we finally create a chart, we can see the frequency spread like this. And this allows us to see that for every single bucket size, what were the total number of transactions that happened. So for example, if we put our profit in values, it gives a very interesting picture. In fact, we don't need the count right now, so we can remove that. It tells us that most of our profit is coming from transactions that are having an individual transaction size of greater than 500, which is very interesting, right? Even though the number of transactions is much more in the smaller transactions, the profit is much higher in the larger ones. And that is exactly what you want to look at. So if I just keep it here, we can make another pivot. So we can just copy and paste this one. And in this one, we want to keep our row ID, change it to a count, and then create a chart. And can you compare both of these? It's a very interesting narrative, right? So this is how I would present this to an end user or a client. I would say that the bulk of transactions are in the range of 0 to 100, but the majority of my profits are coming from transactions whose size is greater than 500.